Pale Waves Unwanted album review. Let's chat about it. Hey friends, what's going on? John here from What's Spinning. Here tonight to chat about this latest album from Pale Waves, Manchester-based indie pop, synth pop, gothic pop act Pale Waves, who, since they became a band a couple of years back, have garnered a lot of very polarizing opinions. They started gaining traction around the time that they started supporting the 1975 on tour and dropping a lot of singles, which led up to their debut album, My Mind Makes Noises, which a lot of people crapped all over. A lot of people just did not enjoy this thing. Truthfully, though, I still don't hate it. I still think there's a lot of great singles on there. The year that it came out, Black actually was in my top 25 singles for the year. I still think it's pretty good, but then again, I also am just a sucker for sort of gothy tinged synth pop. I mean, yes, when this album was bad, it was absolute trash, but at the same time, it brought me back to, I don't know, my teen years where I would have ate this up every day. Now, their follow-up album, Who Am I, which came out last year, I had a lot of conflicting thoughts on. On one hand, it was a very tasteful throwback to the sounds of 90s alternative rock and blending it with their usual gothy synth pop. And I thought some of the singles on there were really great. I am very, very, very partial to Easy and Change and She's My Religion. But there were just as many moments on that album that really kind of defined why a lot of these sounds died out when they did. Up until now, you know, I haven't hated Pale Waves as much as some other people do. Some people absolutely cannot stand them, and more times than not, I've been making excuses for them. But lo and behold, this album came along, and I think that I've run out of excuses. This album starts off with Lies, and I'm not happy. Remember when I said a few minutes ago that there, you know, been tracks that they put out in the past that have been very retro tinged and just the reason that these sounds died out? Here you go. This is dated and annoying and more obnoxious than anything. And if there was a big hook that I could enjoy, I probably would have given this a pass, at least to some extent, but there isn't even that. I really do have a lot less excuses this time around. The hard way is not cutting it either, at least for me. I literally want to put my head through a wall listening to this track. This is absolutely abysmal. There is no reason why Pale Waves can't put out a great ballad here. Not even an acoustic one. They've done it in the past and it's come off pretty bold. But this is lifeless, faceless, emotionless. Yuck. Even when it gets sort of picked up towards the end, I cannot get into this. Jealousy, on the other hand, sounds like a TikTok anthem. That's not a compliment. It's just annoying once again. And you know, I'm fine with a tasteful throwback, but this is not that. I really want nothing to do with a lot of this album, and I haven't even gotten to Without You. Oh yeah, it gets worse. From a lyrical stance, what is this? Listen, Pale Waves actually do put a lot of emotion into their songs, and then I hear this. This sounds like it was literally recorded for a sappy commercial or like a telethon. It is really rough. It's really sad. Ironically though, this time around, it's not the singles that have saved this album. It's some of the deep cuts that actually do let me, you know, enjoy at least some of this album. Like, I do really love Unwanted. It's got a crunchy riff and a big hook that I can't say no to. When they get into this 90s alt-rock groove, I can't say no. It does do them a lot of justice. It is catchy as hell. And yes, is this Pale Waves by the book? Is this Pale Waves paint by numbers? Yep, but it works for them. And it's really memorable. Alone is really nice too. It's just enough of a throwback. I love this twinkling riff, and I like the pop elements. This track, ironically enough, has some power pop influence, and I really like that. It's punchy though, it's raw, and much more emotional than most of the stuff that we hear. It just seems justified. All the performances are really solid all around, and for a few short minutes, nothing is being shoved down your throat, especially not nostalgia. It's actually easy to take in. And despite the god-awful opening na 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 chorus, I think Clean is pretty nice too. See, I actually really love when Pale Waves are a little bit more reserved and focus on their songwriting. That's what we get here. It ends up being really sweet and charming and full of love. And yes, it is a little cheesy, but I'll allow it. I also do really like Only Problem. This may be the best track here, especially when it comes to the more pop-punk oriented material here. As far as singles go, don't look any further. It's incredibly catchy. It's really passionate. Like, you feel this. This is hard. It really clicks for a few short minutes. It's well produced as well. This is a great example of how this sound could actually work with the band. Oh, but then, like with the last couple of tracks, it's just another mixed bag. God, you're so vain. They sound like they think this is like the edgiest thing that's going on in music right now. And yeah, it's not a good look. It's really cheesy and just sad and not interesting. And once again, I don't have a catchy hook. I don't got a memorable verse to really cling to. I don't have anything. But then they bust out a track like Reasons to Live, which is upbeat, ultra passionate again, really well written. The amount of emotion on display here is nothing short of commendable. If they are dead set on going down this route, they have to keep tracks like this up. Numb is very middle of the road once again. I have a lot of conflicting thoughts here. On one hand, from a sheer performance stance and an emotion stance, look no further. This is absolutely incredible. This ultra bland, ho-hum instrumental, this point in the album, not doing anything for me. And Act My Age, you're gonna think I'm crazy, but I actually think it's one of the best deep cuts here. It's actually got some punch to it. As far as an angsty tune, here it is. I mean, it's not that hard to do. The passion comes through here. This actually comes off like an anthem. Not only can I stomach this, I actually want to hear it again. And So Sick of Missing You, oh God, once again, just so many conflicting thoughts. Is this the worst sin committed here? No, it's really not. But is it just me? Or does it sound like the band has wrote this track 15 times and 7 of them are on this album? And I actually really do love the hook a lot. It's probably one of the best ones here, but the rest of this is just like shrug worthy. It's very average. It doesn't bring anything new to the table. This album's not for me. I've tried to make excuses for this band for years because I thought that, you know, they do have a lot going for them, and they show it here because there's some deep cuts that are still very raw, very punchy, and a really solid throwback to a simpler time in alternative rock and synth pop, etc. But man, the amount of clutter on this album is worse than ever. There's a lot of cheesy hooks. Some of the pop punk tracks are just, I never want to hear them ever again. And as far as the full album goes, I think this is by far their worst album. That's just me though. I'm feeling a strong 5, but let me know what you guys think down below. If you like the video, be sure to give us a like, give us a subscribe, and let me know down below what you would like for me to chat about in the future. And until next time, have a great day, friends.